Okay. So I made some new cards that are smaller for my hands, and I'm really enjoying them. Cards are a great way to see and to be able to reorganize and shuffle things around per need. There's a reason why that the tarot is a book of no words, because you should never be told spirituality. It's something very personal, and synchronicities will be your confirmation, has been my experience. And with all the information that I've been studying as of late, a really great suggestion is Open Minds with Miss Meredith. There's literally 22 seasons. They're still going on, and she does weekly shows, and they're an hour long each, and it's incorporating all the people that do this esoteric studies and the stuff they don't want you to know. And I'll tell you what's interesting is the episodes that are not there and available. You can read what the episode's about, but they're not available. And if you look at the corresponding elements, it's a lot to do with like 2016, the presidential, and what the presidential race, and like astronomically, kind of what was being kind of seen through the stars at that time. So just random, it's interesting to see what they omit, just like in Ancestry. When they make a person private deep down in the tree, up in it, it's just obnoxious. It's like a big red mark. So it's only a huge sign. So I wanted to go through, and this might be long, but it will be full of really good information. Just to reiterate, your tree of life is a 3D tree of life, and oh dear, cats. So your first tree of life is internal, and that's going to be like the sword. It's getting pulled out in a direct manner. These are the to be a fool. You're birthed into the land, and how you find the magician within you. The second tree of life is what you do with that magician. How are you going to serve the world and humanity with it? So microcosmic for your internal self, for self-mastery, and then what's going to happen with the difference between judgment and natural law, which is just justice. You know, we'll get there. So with the Wheel of Fortune, I also see it as your birth wheel. The way that the stars have imprinted its seed within you. It's the beginning of your DNA transition from the Fool and the universe before into your new experience, because you didn't push down your button yet. So the bottom one is Yod, just like in Yod He Vad He. I see it as Yod He Vad He needs to bring the twins together, and so I see it as Yod He He Va is the goal. So Yod is represented, and you'll see a lot of symbolism in tarot cards, with little confetti, and you'll see it as with the Alph as well, the first letter of the alphabet, which is represented by the magician, which is a line with two yods, as above, so below. It represents an arm and a hand to work, throw, and worship. We have been put down here onto Malkuf, which is kingship, because as below is so above. So it confused me why this would be kingship. It's because of that. And you'll see that when you spell Yod out, you'll see that it's ending with a Dalet, which is the world card, as I see it. And everything that you do is your own interpretation. There is no right or wrong per se, right? It's also representing the embryo. It's the beginning of your life. You are within the cosmic egg. This word is March of Time. March 4th. Creative impulse. We create and we manifest. And imagination is the secret that they don't want you to obtain, because everyone's imagination is creating reality. And if you focus on the fact that a small group of people, 20 over 80, 20% can affect the 80%, 144,000 can really affect the world. That number's been thrown around a lot. So it doesn't have to be changing everybody. You just have to change yourself to change the world. So it's the seed's touch. The seed has been planted into the ground. It's the eye. This is also the virgin, the beginning. And if you look at this, this is like, it looks exactly like a wormhole. And reminds me of the colon or whatever. Okay, so next is the Hermit, card number 9. It's also the value of 9 as well. Tet. It's the basket for the wheel. Almost like you can picture this as kind of like the bottom trinity, right? Surround, contained, mud. Through the Hermit, through the inside of yourself, the hidden knowledge will come out. You have been seeded and you're about to sprout. A crab likes their home. They feel safe and secure. So they're not looking to cause problems with the outside world. They just want to be left alone, which is where I'm at right now. And getting to know that little piece of sun that you have within your lantern. You're just not quite sure, but if you follow it, it will guide you. Synchronicities will always guide. And God called the dry land earth. God said, let us make man. Foundation. Yesod. So this is the foundation of who you are, is to look within. Okay? Next is the Strength card. It takes a lot of strength to balance and tame the lion, because without that, the lion would surely tear you apart. It's represented by Leo. It's the power of the good. It's the power of the care and the love to tame the beast, to find the duality in all things. It's the tent wall. It's the structure around the foundation. So this is representing division in half. It kind of looks like the hay, the arms raised but put together. It also looks like the hay as well, except it's connected right here because it's still whole into one lion. There's a lot of different ways to, I love the Hebrew language. I can't wait to learn more and more as it comes around, but a tent, it's the walls to the house, right? And it looks like hay for the Greek. There is this being swapped with justice, the 11th card, just because of all the symbolisms and the story and everything. This is the placement that feels comfortable for me. This made me think of something last night, and I can't think of what it is. Maybe it just looks kind of graceful. Next is the Chariot. You've split your lion into duality. Because within this duality, you have to separate to understand the purpose of each. And it is through this mechanism that we're going to be able to take to the sky and do what we need to on Earth as well. So this is represented by Zayn. It's also a Madoc, which is a weapon. To food, it's food for the soul. Cut, nourish. You've cut yourself into half for duality purposes to experience. Discern, self-conscious, subconscious. It's represented by the twins. Been sliced in half. The point is to bring them back together. Next is Va, so Yod. He, Va. This is actually going to be He later. So Va, love. It's the tent, the peg. It's what holds your house to the ground. It's the anchor. It's to secure and hook what's been thrown at you, right? Fastening, and it's the ear. Also represented as a feather. I just see a lot of poetic possibilities here, and I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I'm trying to keep this simple, damn it. But I think that anyone watching this could definitely just look at some of these slides and push pause and come up with some beautiful poetry for yourselves and share with me. I would love, love, love to see what anyone comes up with. So this is ultimately the most important. It's about love and cooperation. It's about the two coming together. And notice that this is sharing with every other placement, right? Now, the key is the Hierophant. This is where, and what's interesting is in the minor arcana, or in the rest of the typical deck of cards, the 5 placement typically represents troubles. And in the major arcana, 5 is the Hierophant, which is spiritual leader. This is a warning to focus on this, not external. This is represented by Samek. It's also a tent peg. It's a thorn and support. I think that religious organizations are the root of evil, but most people don't know that, and so it's within a good heart that you're there. So, but like with anything, use a crutch as long as you need the crutch, but you need to do physical therapy to rebuild your muscles, right? So a rose is beautiful, but be mindful of the thorns. Grab, hate, detect. I mean, look at these words that describe this placement too. It's support, right? It supports your spiritual growth. Dogma, thesis, doctrine. It's represented by the moon, kind of that dark side of ourselves, which the dark is defined, the light is defined by dark. So my biggest push is for people, instead of masking and hiding and feeling guilt and shame about their dark side, what your soul is looking for you to do is to recognize and not bury that part of yourself. Understand that part of yourself. Come to terms with that part of yourself, because that is how your light is going to come through. Don't be ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed if you're coming at it with a point of growth. This is Sagittarius. Very, very deep thinker. So you got to look deep within. Next is the Emperor. The key is to find that femininity within the patriarchal system, to bring him back to almost like his twin, I suppose, right? And that's the way I pictured this. When you push the button down, you pull this up, and everything turns and shifts up within the 3D tree of life. So the Emperor is Nun. It's the seed, sprouting, fish, ocean, the fruit and fetus, sprouting a cup. You know that thing where they show, like, it looks like a vase, but it also looks like two faces looking at each other? Scorpion's another water sign that tends to hold all their emotions in until they snap at you. Now what's interesting here is I placed these cards different. See how it's 50 and 60? Other people have 5 and 6. But I think that it's the accompanying cards to help with from the second tree to the first, and I also have that correlation when it comes to the minor arcana as well, which you can see in the other videos, and I'll do another one sooner or later. So next is Gimel, and I just absolutely love Gimel. I love this card. The Trinity, with the power of the Trinity. She is the one that manifests the thought into existence. She's the one that made it material. The foot, or the camel's leg. To gather, walk, and carry. She carries you into this world. And her accompanying card is death. And it's so beautiful because Gimel also represents nurture and love, performer of kindness, but the importance to let you go so that you can figure it out on your own, to know when to walk away. It's like when you're trying to fry something up, don't overstir it. Let it sit and fester, scrape it off the bottom, but you got to know when it's done or else you'll burn it as well, right? So, anima, it was a beautiful word that I had to look it up, but it's the female part of a man's personality. The archetypal conduit. The soul versus the mind. It's also represented as the temple, the subconscious. Very powerful card. An arm is the symbol. Moon. These are all different representations that what represent Gimel as the Hebrew letter. And that's when they find their homes within the tree of life in the book with no words. Because what's a book with no pictures, right? Says Alice. So this is a very powerful card. Next is the highest priestess. Everything has been, as old as time, matriarchal or whatnot. That was taken away for power and for many other reasons. But to get back to that duality, left and right, the goal is to be center. But you have to incorporate both, right? X marks the spot. So bet is a tent or the floor plan. It's the plan of what the Empress is about to put into flourishing. House, the family, inn. Conscious attention. It's also the temple and Nemesis as well. Represented by Mercury, which is the planet of information, fast information. And now you've made it to the Magician. And so these are 2 yods, Nava, I believe. It's the ox head, strong power leader, as above, so below, a man. That's what he's represented by. Air, what you speak has a lot of power over this world, and the Magician now knows this. And he will keep reincarnating until he figures out how to do the Magician role correct and push down the button to create 369 and to seal up his DNA, or else he will keep reincarnating. It's also a silent letter because there's much more to this. This is the representation of God. Everything within and without silence. It's all vibrations with or without speaking, though speaking has much power over. In the beginning, God created. So now that you're the Magician, you come down for judgment. Your life is depicted based on karmicness, right? So this is the first top beginning. Well, that's kind of interesting, right? First top beginning, but it's Resh, which is the bottom. The hawk can go to the ground, but can also go to the sky. As above, so below. The prodigal, or whatever, I can't speak. Redemption. Growth. What is that? Next is the sun. Horizon. Just now peeking up. Sun, fishing tool. Time to go fish. Now that you are the sun and you have the magic, the magician's mind and eye, what are you going to do for the world? Are you going to be selfish, or are you going to help assist others? Are you going to go fishing? Back of the head, it's also going to be the embodiment, the medulla, the bottom of the brain, back of the head. See how all these things happen to correlate so perfectly? A fish's boat. And this is also that symbol that I saw in that Egyptian thing. We'll get to that later, from a couple years ago. Everything makes sense. Pisces. Fisherman. He shares that hermit, so the hermit's holding a piece of this sun. Next is the moon, which I had it backwards in my old cards with An. So the water bearer, there's correlation between these two, so keep that in mind. They're very confusing. And this looks like that. I think that there could be a twins issue here, right? That God's something, or it looks like a 3 voices guy. I can't think of it, but I think that there's some correlating issues with these, and plus this one's silent. Anyways, and this one looks like L for love and the ant symbol. Materialisticness, right? The insight of knowing or figuring it out through the dark side. It's the fish hook, trail, hunt, journey, chase, snare, hunt. The other card on the micro was the strength card over here. It's a horned beast. A lot of correlating things you can kind of bring together with this. So next is the stars. Because out in the universe, there's a bunch of different possibilities. This is represented by Pe. This is the scatter, edge, open bow, mouth, thought, and speech. The face with tongue. It's interesting. Mars. This is the side of, action. To balance. Land. Physical. And so the tower card is, the accompanying card is the love card, and what's so special about this is that you're always going to have towers fall where they need to. They're always going to fall, and it's falling with grace, right? There's a reason for things to get taken down, all these yods, so that it can be built back up with love. But you have to tear down old ideals. You have to tear down what's not working. Even though it gives you a nice structure and it makes you feel safe, it's a lie. And that is what causes cancer, is by not breaking down these old ideals through pain. Through the moon is how you find the light. It's the eye. It's see, watch, know, shield, foundation. Tear down the bad foundations. Path of honesty, the righteous. Legs, the water bearer. The devil. Notice it's accompanied with the Hierophant from the first tree. And the biggest signifying factor of this is that the chains are loose and they can take it off if they want. The devil is your own making. The devil is what hinders you from growth through the tree. This is not an external hell. This is not anything external. That is fear-based. This is internal consciousness. Take off your own chains. Crossed poles, sticks, X marks the spot. Mark, sign, signal, movement. The bottom, the bosom. Saturn, which is represented by the, father figure action. The picture of the emperor. Because this is a very masculine aspect. But when you look at the truth, that all this is asking you to look at the truth. When you choose not to look at the truth, that's when you have the negative aspect. Next is temperance. This is shared by the Emperor because it takes balance and temperance of the dark and the light to master bringing the twins together. When the female aspect of the man can be in harmony of the Empress, you can save the world by working within yourself, the fire within. Hey, hey. Man with raised arms, look, reveal, breathe, sign. Vision, it's a window. Resonating power, the breath. The death card is the water, chaos, mighty, blood, womb. You know, they say the mother gives life and she shall take it away, but this is representing the death of one's old ideals. You gotta, of all the towers taken down that you've worked so hard to build back up again, you have to, this is your resurrection, your rebirth. Surrender. Are you ready to push down the button for the tree, you know, the ladder? Jacob's ladder. There's 10 points on a tree of life. 3 horizontal, 3 mothers, 7 vertical, 7 planetaries, and 12 simples. It's the Hebrew alphabet equals 22. Lambed, it's a shepherd's staff. Keep everything, keep your herd. Now that you've gotten all this way, you see the world completely different. You are enlightened. As above, so below. You are enlightened even though you are completely hung upside down. Because the world looks completely foreign now that you know what you know. But you've done what you've done to this point, and we're going to see what happens with justice for you. Are you going to DNA and reincarnate, or are you going to push down your button and ascend? And there's this is an interesting card in some of my other things. About 33 minutes. So justice. Remember, this is different than judgment. It's the palm of the hand up at the top. There's a lot of depictions of God reaching down with his hand. Open, allow, tame, closed palm, grasp. Grasp. Oh, there you go. Ruled by Jupiter. It's a sling. Excuse me. Next is Dalet. Notice this is number 4. A lot of people have this with the Emperor. It belongs here in my world. I mean, you might as well just believe that it's your world and everyone else is living in it, or else you're just living someone else's world. So, amazing things happen when you, as long as you have good intention and do good by natural law. The tent door, movement, hang. Once you've been hung, you can enter the door. Birth, fertility, nourishment, the lips, everything that has been spoken to this point has led us here. Knowledge, led you here, and God said that it was good. So now, that's card 21, though it's the 22nd tarot card. Shin is the final letter of the alphabet. Or no, it's, well, technically Tet. Oh God. But I put it here because that is key. It's not about external religion, it's about internal spiritualism that you find within yourself. But Shin is the final and the beginning, right? Because it's all infinite until it's done. So Shin is 2 front teeth, what you speak out, the sharpness, eat for 2, your twins coming back together. It's the divine script that touches earth. It's the crown you wear. It's the Joker, the Fool, the deck of card. It's the sun that's within, the fire, and how you use that. 3 opposite 3, 1 rules. 12 stand in war. 3 gives life. 3 hate, 3 love. Okay. Okay. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm having a hard time just explaining about what the hell's going on with me. I just have had a lot of... I've been... let me just... I've always been about knowledge. And I've never found passion, and so I've always been very depressed because other people found passion real easily and nothing ever worked for me. It was just not enough. And ultimately, with wanting to know who my father was, I have found my biggest passion is truth. Whatever it is, how ugly it may be, I validate truth. So, I was blessed with twins a couple years ago, and the day that I had an ultrasound, I thought I saw 2 embryos, and even something behind the first one, and even the doctor didn't see it, but I knew. It was so funny. But lo and behold, there was 2, but they were mono twins. So, meaning not only do they share the same placenta, but they shared both sacs together. The next closest thing would have been Siamese twins for them. They were boys. And the day before that doctor's appointment, where we found out, that he was not well, I was watching Oaks Island, where they found the Knights Templar cross, or Ankh. So it means a lot to me. I mean, it just looks so... I mean, if thoughts can manifest, right? It's a trip. The Ankh is also known as the key of life. It represents the concept of eternal life and the breath of life. The Ankh can be used as a portal or a mirror to the other side, and can serve as a channel of communication to the divine. It is an amulet of spiritual healing. The Ankh is worn for good luck and fortune, and to protect against bad energies. So at week 16, he didn't have an active heart. So he was taking all the placenta. He was still taking away from the other twin, though he was not growing. So we were preparing for surgery at week 16 to separate him so that we can save the other twin. And then at that ultrasound, preparing for surgery, he had passed as well. And when he left, he had an angel or a dove, many different interpretations that I see from this. So they're probably my ultimate biggest gift for the short time that they existed, because they're still within me. Because as far as mtDNA goes, a mother has remnants of every pregnancy within their body that maintains there. During that time, I found this barrel as a barrel shelf, and I felt it called me, so I went and picked it up. I wish I still had it. I just couldn't take it when I had to emergency leave my situation a couple years ago. But looking at it today, I see so much. The tree of life. Look at the symbolism, Yod He He Va. The tree of life, the squares, the fractal, the tree of life, pillars 1, 2, sideways. The star within the square, just like the other things in my other videos, so it means a lot. This looks like that one we were talking about, remember? The Fisher boat. I have a video on this. I mean, really, it's pretty much still the same. It's just, when you just look at all these pieces of information, what does it say to you? These people are holding all the power, but look what happens to them. They cease to exist on their timeline. It's all about the few that take the reign to manifest the ladder. Notice one person disappears when they pass the ladder. Here's some, I hate money, but I need to make money to become independent as more than I am. So I really need help. If I want to help other people be seeds. So if anyone could make a donation, once I get to 369 followers on Twitch, I'll maybe give a free thing out weekly or monthly or something to my followers, or we'll create something fun. And I'll start streaming once I get some followage. And then I'll become more comfortable and less weird, because I'm not really being myself. I don't know, I'll become more comfortable. So these are lovely bookmarks. I can make them, we can talk more about it on live stream. These are magnetic keychains. Excuse me. These are really cool. I cut out the moon, bottom part of the moon, and overlaid it with the moon. It's really cool. Necklace and earrings. These are fidget spinners that I absolutely adore these, because it's the correlating aspect of two cards, like the Sun and the Hermit, right? Here's a Fool with a bookmark. It's kind of like a hand rosary, is the way I like to imagine it. I'm just keeping it simple. All my products are $36.90, $369, for the zero to assist the world, to assist me helping to plant seeds, and hopefully you can join the party. This is really cool. This is what I really want to help tie people into, feel a part of the world. These are birth cards. So you have minor arcana birth cards. I have a birth wheel, and I decided to make these. So if your birthday is between December 22nd and 30th, these are your cards. This is your one card for this time period, and then you'll notice they correlate and it changes as you spin through the wheel, and all the minor arcana cards, all 50, what is it, 52 or 53 of them are within a calendar year of which one is your birthday. I had said in a videos ago that I insisted, like something wrong, because I never grew up going to church or reading the Bible. So I read in random books. Audiobooks are key because you can get information and your imagination will play. And you don't have to, you could do anything while you listen to an audiobook. But a physical book for reference is so key. And those bookmarks, I'm telling you, I'll do a whole video and stream and hang out and show you how cool all the bookmarks are and how intentional they are to assist a researcher. I don't pick up a book and read it. Very rarely do I do that. It's what calls, you research something or you flip and you just see what it's there and it leads to something else. So this was me getting slapped in the face with finally kind of the 10 Commandments and just insisting that it was flawed because, well, the Bible is flawed. Mainstream religions are flawed, and when you research that, you learn that, and there's nothing more comforting than being okay. Oh dear. Oh, I did just copy him over. That's so annoying. This is my gematria. I just pulled him from... We'll do this on a live stream. Too drunk to care. This is my gematria. This is the top one. A number key, Egyptian gods, and Cyrus. I named both my kids Cyrus. This is hilarious. We have to see that I can't read them, but it's really... God, they're all bad. I did this. I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Oh, here's that thing, Sagittarius. Oh, that would be fun to look at another time. So here's the Minecraft world that I'm doing. So this is the highest priestess. Here's the fool and the universe, death. It's my mob farm. Life comes in and out of this portal, right? So we're at the highest priestess tarot card. And here's her pillars. She sits here in the center. And it's represented by Bet. And here's my little angel girl. Here's the DNA strand that I'm working on. B central. It's also going to be the brain and the spinal cord going down. I'm also want to do the correlations with the major arcana birth cards, or and then also the your nervous system and your spinal cord. So I came across this village while I was exploring with my modded pack, and I mean, like, it just... Quartz, my favorite block. Brick, when people hate on brick, I just don't understand why. It's beautiful. Diorite, love all this stuff. It's just stunningly beautiful. And there's 21 empty little houses that are tiny that I want to per like followers and people that want to hang out with me on stream. You don't need to earn a shit ton of points or anything. Just come hang out with me and I'll make one of these yours. Just be into self-education. That's all. I don't want to tell anybody anything other than to inspire you to become your own seed. And so here's the 22nd. I went ahead and made this, now that you've become the magician, what are you going to do with it? It's literally a temple with potion maker. I mean, it's just, you should have seen when I came into this village. It's literally a library town. Gematria, Library of Alexandria. And this is when I just started breaking down, crying. The left and right pillars, the foundation between the two, the Holland berries, barrels for the fishermen. It's really a beautiful gift that was bestowed upon me. And I really appreciate it. And because things are really hard, everyone gets freaked out by me. I think I make them feel funny, or I don't know. I irritate people's demons. And I'm over here dealing with my demons all day, every day, confronting it and dealing with it and crying alone. Because the world's a very uncomfortable place. When you're hanging upside down alone, So I'm just waiting for other people to come hang with me. Kind of like, what is it, the Ice Age, Anyways, I just want to read this again because I love it. It's not about, especially with Christmas coming up, it's not about what's under the tree, but who's around it that matters. I decided to dig deeper on that because, we've all always kind of given respect to that concept, but I think we should dig deeper about working on your own tree and your own roots that will affect who's around your tree. Right now I'm in a forest with no trees around, feels like, but dig deeper. If sought, if sown, let it shine. Gems under thy tree, set free. Land's root take, the routes they snake. Initiates ingredients comprised of eye, whisking about, senses perked towards trees. Roots tended, ones presented, pretended. Frequencies roar, people tune, gathering around your tree. Nourished love, lumberjack, keys within boxes placed at the skirt, screaming or whispering, alert. Shining light upon hidden words in thy book, appearing as a fishing hook. Fisherman, purpose defined, entangled strings, roots held tight, defined and defend eye from eye. Swords pulled, swords protect. Plague of man, never forget. Light is all, defined by dark. Let it shine upon thy ark. The beaker, the mark, let us embark. Dig deeper. That's really annoying, because this is really just like part of why I'm crazy, because oh, I forgot to get those pictures from, maybe I should just open it up over here real quick. Part of what I look at every day that helps me. Yeah, we're just gonna do this, because I forgot to put it in the slideshow. So this is the one picture of my father, that emperor in the temperance. This is the only picture I have of him, and when I finally found out who he was, and found my two half-sisters, the first picture they sent, he was wearing the same exact shirt. And I never could read what the shirt says, but right before I had found him, while I was actually searching for him in 2017, he died in 2014. before I found my sisters, while I was searching for him, I actually was able to decipher what the shirt said, and it says Bryce Canyon, Utah. And I named my older son Bryson. This is definitely a part of my crazy right now. So, like, I mean, I don't know. I'm just, like, I wish someone would at least understand what I'm going through and believe my reality, because prove to me that it's not. Because this book is a little bit crazy. It was made in 2014, the year that my father died, and I just found this book in June, when I first moved out here. I left the insanity of a material world, and I'm trying to fulfill a dream of keeping it simple. I just don't want anyone to be able to bother me and to take away what I have. I just want to work and do what I'm guided to do. And I'm guided by the knowledge I pursue. A lot of things don't happen to me that I'm open for, but it's not like a voice I hear, it's just intuition. I know things. Anyways. So this book is a little crazy. If you've ever heard of The Last President with Donald Trump, like, prophesized, this is the same thing. So help me decipher what I'm supposed to do, because this person by ancestral origins is like Jesus's sister and then, like, basically, like, it's coming from the what do you call it, the apocalypse, the unveiling of the truth. Like, that's everything. And she's obsessed with the Knights Templar, like I am. I have been. That's where the 900, Freddie Silva's that was one of the first things I started researching that grasped my attention. I have a map of all anyways, and it's just crazy. The doves. I have my birth cards is the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords. There's just crazy shit. Like, my mom's obsessed with Pepsi, and they even mention Pepsi in here, and, like, yeah. Anyways. I miss our cat Jupiter. His name was Sailor Jupiter, and that means a lot for obvious reasons, if you look at my other videos and stuff. But this is my grandfather Jim, and he left this book that just came up recently too. It's called The Prophet by this one guy. Anyways, there's a lot of things that came up in that book that I just mentioned to my Uncle Josh too, because he had quoted a book, and my aunt and my mom, remembered it. So, and I hijacked it from my mom. So, he was a quirky old man. He's holding a boat. And I found this in his materials, and so I'm trying to learn a little bit of the ruins. But it says a land dolphin, and my son did this years ago because we're obsessed with, Mario Sunshine. So it's just interesting. Synchronicities. I don't think I'm going to ramble on about this. I hope that it's still recording. Yeah, it should be. But this is my next steps, is just to, when it comes up, when time permits, yeah, I mean, just go ahead and hit pause. I don't think I did a video on this. I just posted some pictures, but or did I do a video? I can't remember, to be honest, but here's some fun stuff to tap into and find out where it takes ya. Here's the whole Lamed thing. Lama and Bet are the prefix. Yeah. Yeah. In and anyways. Oh yeah, and the dreidel, like the chalice, the cup. You get the cup once you push the button down. The magician and justice go down to the fool and the universe placement. That sprouts out your 4 additional worlds to accompany your 5th world. Daughter, earth, air, swords, wands, fire, water, mother, and then your main tree. So it's your, once you mastered that level, then you can purposefully experience through an elemental experience. So I feel like I do that sometimes. Like I embrace the kid in me, or I embrace the father figure in me, or I embrace the maternal aspect of me, right? And it's all about bringing the king to the queen and shuffling this out. But when you suck everything up, push down and suck up, you get the dreidel and your lotus, your flower from above, you get your cross, There's so much to be said about it. I think that's it. Okay. Ciao for now.